In a Blink by Kiki Thorpe. Chapter 10. Once Kate had been found, Tink and Beck sent a call out to the rest of the fairies. Everyone, including Mia and Lainey, hurried to the big oak tree. They could all see Kate high in the branches. She looked tired and scared. Of course, the next problem was how to get her down. Luckily, this was just the sort of problem Tink enjoyed solving. After much tinkering, she rigged up a pulley system. She made the pulley herself, using old mouse cart reels. The harvest fairies attached it to the highest branches. Then, everyone helped to hoist Kate down. On the ground, Kate hugged her friends. When she heard that Gabby was the one who'd found her, she gave the little girl an extra hug. Kate told them about her flying lesson with Vidya and how she'd ended up in the tree. When I couldn't find Vidya, I got scared. I tried to land, but it was dark. I couldn't see where I was going, and I crashed into the oak tree, she explained. I couldn't fly anymore either. I guess I'd used up my fairy dust. Why didn't you use the dust you took from the mill? Terrence asked. It's gone, Kate said. I had it tied to my belt loop, but now it's missing. Vidya took it, I bet, Tink said. So that's what Vidya was up to, Prilla said with a frown. She got Kate to steal dust from the mill so she could have it all for herself. Kate was shocked. I didn't steal, Vidya said. Kate trailed off. From the looks on her friends' faces, she knew that Vidya hadn't told her the truth. I wouldn't have taken it if I'd know it was stealing, she said. I just wanted to learn how to fly. I thought if we all knew how to fly, we could find our way back to Pixie Hollow. You wanted to come back? Prilla asked. More than anything, Kate said. The other girls nodded. But now I've gone and messed it all up, haven't I? To her surprise, Tink flew over and landed on her shoulder. To Kate, it felt as if a butterfly were resting there. You haven't messed anything up, Tink said. And you might find your way back here still. I would be glad to see you. Oh, Prilla said then. Look how late it's getting. If we don't go now, we may miss our chance to get you to the mainland. The sun was low in the sky. It was time for the girls to go to the fairy circle, and then home. Before they could leave, though, they had to say goodbye to Queen Clarion. They found her waiting for them at the fairy circle. She was perched on the snow-white toadstool, looking as queenly as ever. One by one, the girls said their goodbyes. Kate stepped forward last. I'm sorry I lost all your fairy dust, she said to the queen. We'll get it back. Most of it, anyway, Queen Clarion replied. Vidya will return eventually. Pixie Hollow is her home. No Never Fairy can ever stay away for long. That made Kate feel a little better. There were many other things she wanted to say about how much she loved Pixie Hollow and Cavendish Stream and the orchard and the willow room and all the other fairies she'd met. Instead, she said, Thanks for being so nice to us. The queen smiled and said, You are always welcome in Pixie Hollow. She held out her tiny hand. Ever so gently, Kate grasped it between her thumb and forefinger and shook it. Kate stepped into the center of the fairy circle, where her friends and Prilla were waiting. Rain was there with her funny little pinwheel. The tide is forwarding. Mark is a flay, she said. She means, said Sky, it's time to go. The girls joined hands. Prilla landed on Gabby's upturned palm. They were all together, just as they had been when they arrived in Neverland. Bye-bye, fairies, Gabby shouted. The other girls joined her. Goodbye, goodbye, they called. Fly safely. The queen and Terrence waved. Tink had just reached for her bangs, not because she was annoyed this time, but because she wanted to hide her misty eyes. Then Prilla blinked, and the world blinked too. But when the girls opened their eyes, nothing had changed. They were still standing in the fairy circle. It didn't work, Kate murmured. What? Rain frowned and shook her pinwheel. Then she said a lot of jingly things that the girls couldn't understand. She means, said Sky, looking embarrassed, that we may have made an error or two. But the girls were all smiling. It didn't work, Kate said again more loudly. We don't have to go home, not just yet. The girls stood hand in hand. Tink fluttered over and landed on Kate's shoulder. Together they watched the sun sink below the horizon. Not one of them doubted that they would make it home someday, but in the meantime they had many adventures ahead of them in Neverland.